Hi children, welcome back to the lesson forest. So we are discussing about uses of forest. Means what important role do forests do for us, right? So here it recycles the oxygen, carbon dioxide level, it gives us rain. All we discussed. And now in this session, let us see some more importance of forest. So here forest it involves in prevention of floods. It involves in prevention of floods. How do it prevent the flood? Already in the previous use that we discussed, it is going to reduce the soil erosion. It prevents the soil erosion. What is meant by soil erosion? Removal of the topsoil. Removal of the topsoil is called as soil erosion, and this can be prevented by the plants. When plants grow, the roots they tightly hold the soil particles, and it never allows the soil particle to be loose. Right? So in that manner, here plants also prevents the floods. Already in 6th class we discussed about this. For example, sorry, in 5th class or 6th class we discussed. For example, this is the coastal region or seashore or any river shore, river bank. If you grow the trees by the shoreline, then what happens here? These plants they are going to prevent the flow of water. Right? It prevents the flow of water into the village. Why? Because whenever the water is flowing through the trees, when it is flowing through the trees, the speed of the water get decreased. The speed of the water get decreased so that the floods can be stopped by the what you call forest. It can be stopped by the forest. And as well as when you look into the floods, how do floods occur? Due to overflowing of water, floods occurs. Here, the forest floor, it is fully loaded. Forest floor is fully loaded with the dead and decayed particles. Dead and decayed particles, they are fully loaded here. When there is a load of dead and decayed matter, it is called as humus. What we call it is humus, the nutritious part of the soil, top layer. Right? Removal of humus is also called soil erosion. So, here, this humus, it has dead and decayed particles, fallen leaves, twigs, dead bodies, different layers, etc. So whenever rainfall occurs, even though it is a heavy rainfall, then what happens? The water first it gets soaked into this humus. Water gets soaked into humus, and after that slowly it percolates into underground. Slowly it percolates into underground. Means here this soil acts as sponge. It acts as sponge, and it is going to absorb the water that is fallen. Even though it is heavy rainfall, what happens? The water can be absorbed by the soil particles from the humus. So that like a sponge it is going to soak the total water. So there is no more water to flow. There is no speed flow of water. Right? So the water percolates in and it forms the groundwater. It forms groundwater. Right? Now this water from the soil can be sent slowly into the rivers. It's sent slowly into the rivers throughout the years. Throughout the year. So here these roots or plants, they slowly allow the groundwater to reach the river, slowly, so that throughout the year, we could able to see the presence of water in the water body. The river it never dried up. Why it won't dry up? Why? Because it is slowly releasing whatever the absorbed water is there. This water from the aquifer slowly enters into the river by the underground water, so that the river water never completes, never dries up. So that is the advantage because of forest. Number one, it is preventing the flow of water. So floods also decrease. And here it is slowly releasing the water into the river. So that if at a time if it releases, then there is a spill over the dams. The water spills out and it causes flood. But here what happening? Here it is slowly releasing so that there is no chance to get overspill. There is no chance to get overspill, so that it prevents the floods. Imagine what happens if there are no trees. If you cut down the trees, if you do the deforestation, then what happens? When there are no trees, no one is going to hold the water like this, and whatever the heavy rainfall that occur in the forest area, the water flows heavily and finally it reaches into the river. So in the river the water quantity increases, this large amount of water it spills out of the bank and it enters into the locality and it causes floods. We know very well what happens when we suffer from floods, right? When floods strike an area, communication will be cut down and there is no more drinking water for them, and and it spreads the diseases. They lost their shelter, there is no food for them. So all these can be caused by the removal of forest, so that forest can able to prevent the floods. Forest can able to prevent the floods. Have you understood? Use of floods. Sorry, use of forest to prevent the floods. Right. And next, not only this, forest it also involve. It also gives forest. It also gives food and shelter for wild animals. Wild animals. Right? So here, forest it provides an ecosystem, forest habitat. We already learned that. Forest habitat, forest structure, canopy, understory, shrub region, herb region, forest floor, all they are very suitable, and they give protection to the wild animals. They are giving a shelter. They are giving a shelter and as well as food. For example, the animals like birds and monkeys, they live in canopy. They live in canopy. Whereas the deers, lions, the land mammals, they are going to be take shelter on the floor of the forest. And as well as here the forest is providing shelter, and next it is providing fodder also. So all green plants, they produce foods, vegetables, the flowers, twigs, they are eaten by the herbivorous animals, and herbivorous animals can be eaten by the carnivorous animals. So however, here forest is providing a lot of food and shelter to the wild animals, right? So here each and everything, when it is available in the forest, no animal comes out of the forest. But here the bad luck is that the greedy man, means because of human activity we are doing deforestation. By deforestation we are removing the plant and trees from the forest. So that what happens, the animals and birds that are living, even the earthworms, in creatures, snakes, all whatever they are living in the forest floor, they are going to lose their shelter, right? When they lose their shelter, what happens? Actually, you are getting into forest and you are cutting the forest and you are building constructions there. And if any animal enters into your locality, then you are shouting, oh, the animal entered and it destroyed the total area. You are saying, actually, you entered into that area. It didn't enter into your locality. You cut down the trees, you made it to grassland, and you are living there. That's why they are entering simply, right? So if you remove the trees, if you do the deforestation, then the food and shelter for the animals and plants, they will be depleted, right? So when there is no food, the animals die. The excellent animals, different biodiversity. Have you listened this word? Biodiversity. Biodiversity. Bio means living things. Diversity means difference. The difference between the living things means different organisms, different living things. Different living things. So biodiversity, it get disturbed. अच्छे जो खूबसूरत जो आपने नहीं देखा हुआ है, अच्छी स्पीसीज जो कुछ भी है, we are going to lost because of deforestation. Wide variety, excellent kind of animals will be there. Already we discussed in adaptation in the forest, right? So many varieties of lions, tigers, different variety species of animals can be seen in the forest, but because of deforestation, we are losing them. Not only animals, we are also losing the plants, medicinal plant, nutritional value plant, honey giving plant. So no more fodder will be available there, right? So that is the thing if you remove the forest. But here it is giving food and shelter to the wide variety of biodiversity. Different kinds of animals, they are taking shelter and food from the forest, right? Not only wild animals, even it is providing food and shelter for forest dwelling people. Forest dwelling people. Who are called forest dwelling people? The people who are living in the forest. Adivasi, we used to say Adivasi. Chenchu, Gond, Adivasi. Right? They treat the forest as their mother, and they are going to get fodder like honey, fruits, vegetables, tubers, rhizomes, right, from the forest, right? And they are going to develop the forest products, lac, gum, resin, latex, right? Like that they are going to produce. And traditionally they know how to how to extract them, how to harvest the food product from the forest, they know very well. But here what happening, when we cut down the tree, even these, not only wild animals, even these people also, they are losing their shelter, right? When they lose their shelter, we don't have any knowledge about the forest and forest products, right? So we never get any good quality product from the forest. So here forest, even it is protecting the dwelling people, and dwelling people, they never cut the forest trees, they never do the deforestation, instead they are going to protect the forest. Do you know Amrita Devi, Sundarlal Bahuguna, Chipko movement, do you know that? So when a king ordered to cut down the trees, the people of that tribal people, they went and they hugged the tree. The cruel king, he cut their necks along with the trunks of the trees. पेड़ के साथ head भी cut किया गया, right? Amrita Devi, she sacrificed for the plant. So tribal people, uneducated, even they are uneducated, they are very lovable towards the forest. Even we are educated, well developed, and engineers, doctors, highly qualified human being we are, but even we are doing the cutting down of trees, right? So it shows very bad effect to our life, right? So these are the uses of the forest. So what we discussed so far: forest gives us rain, forest purifies the air, forest gives us oxygen, forest maintains the climate cool, forest can able to prevent the soil erosion, forest prevents the floods, forest gives us food, it gives shelter and food for the wild animals, it also provides food and shelter for the people who are living in the forest, tribal people or forest dwelling people, right? So not only 1 to 10, hundreds of uses are there because of forest. So we all have to respect the forest, we have to prize it like our mother, we have to pray the goddess, the forest goddess, we have to pray. We should not cut the trees, just make awareness about the plant and its importance, and grow the plants and trees in the forest, and let the earth green, right? We know very well what happens when it is green, right? So thank you very much. So this is about today's session. In next session we'll discuss about remaining chapter, right? Thank you.